got a friend in coaching that tells me, you know, for every one of those that goes in, you got some coming. So I guess I've got some coming right now after this year. But unbelievable play by Roosevelt to make a steal. Unbelievable presence of mind to drive it down the court, get it up before the clock ran out. Guys really played hard. I felt like they really crushed us on the interior, to be candid. And you know what? Just physically, that's something that they do really well. Our game plan was to try to take Pangos and Dell and make their field goals worth 2, and a couple of ours were going to be worth 3, and see if we couldn't come up at the end of the game, and we were fortunate to do so. Great basketball game, unbelievable. I said on TV, a little bit of Hinkle magic, I guess. I haven't heard the place like this since Avery Sheets hit a shot in 2003 to beat Milwaukee, and I'm not sure it was that loud then.
Roosevelt, why didn't you call a timeout when you caught the ball?
I'm just making the basketball play. I heard the coach tell him to throw the lob to Lennox, so I played behind him, and I was just making the basketball play.
You just take us through the steal, the shot, just the whole thing.
Okay, yeah, like I said, I heard the coach tell Lennox that to get the lob, so I played behind him and I stole it. And I looked at the clock and I think it was 4 seconds, so I knew I could get down. Then I spent and I seen Lennox come up to me and I floated over him.
Coach, Emerson Campen hadn't practiced all week, had he?
No, he's our inbounder in that moment.
Explain that to me.
He's a fifth-year senior who throws the best baseball pass on our team. He'll make the right decision every single time, and I trust him. And so, just like everybody has relief pitchers, he's my inbounder.
Does it feel like you just won the first round of the NCAA tournament?
No, I've been through that. So I think the biggest thing is we've got to move on from here. You know, our next few games. I mean, we're at LaSalle, Temple, at St. Louis, at Rhode Island at home. I mean, we don't have time to bask in anything. We just got to get better and play. And I was proud of these guys. Finding a way to win without Rodney obviously was a really hard thing to do. But these guys have, you know, they believe in each other. They play their roles well, and hopefully we can continue.
The way Barlow grinds it out all game, tough as nails, gets the travel call. Rose comes in, picks him up. Is that just kind of this team in a nutshell right now?
Yeah, and you know what? I have another guy on the bench that I almost put in for that moment, but we threw it to Barlow. They made a great play, kind of running at him, which can be, you know, that can be a catch-22 because if he catches it and turns and gets contact, it might be a foul. But they made a great play running at him, forced him to walk. So at that point, you're still in the game because no matter what, you're going to get a shot. Even if they make 2 free throws, you got a shot to tie the game. So it's not like it's complete doomsday. Just go play, figure it out. And, you know, it's like I told them, if a shot doesn't go down, does that make us any less of a team? No. Are we going to be talked about like we're greater of a team? Yes. Gonzaga's no less of a team because that shot went in. The shot just happened to go in.
Brad, was the idea to replace Rodney by committee, try to get a couple of points here and there?
That's what you have to do. I mean, there's no offense to anybody on our team, but nobody on our team does exactly what Rodney does. It's just like if Rose went out, nobody on our team does exactly what Roosevelt does. You have to replace him by committee. You have to scheme a little differently. You have to do those type of things. And I thought they did a pretty good job doing that. Our guys did a pretty good job doing that all game. Kellen made big shots. Chase DeGaulle made 2 big, huge threes, and I thought he was going to drill a third one right in front of our bench. And we just had a bunch of people step up and make plays.
Brad, any chance Rodney plays against LaSalle or Temple?
From what I hear, it's unlikely against LaSalle.
Roosevelt,
We're
when's the
just
last
gonna go
time
one
you hit
and
a shot
one
like that? I'm sorry. Roosevelt, when's the last time you hit a buzzer beater like that?
I never did in my life.
Brad, this is mostly a different team than a couple years back, but do you start to see qualities in this team that remind you of those guys? And if so, what are they?
I'll wait 2 months to tell you because I think they did it all the way through. And sometimes it wasn't perfect, but those guys stayed the course whether things were going well or bad, and that's our challenge, you know, because things are going to take. We're probably going to have some times that are down, and we're probably going to have some really good times like tonight. We just have to stay the course. Teams that can do that for 5 months are special. There's a reason why it's hard to get there, and it's hard to win once you get there.
Right,
So it's hard to answer that right now.
I know coaches are paid to believe up until the final buzzer, but in that situation, Are you honestly thinking someone's going to make a play better than this?
These guys are just crazy enough to make me believe it. You know, like just the stuff they do, the way they play the game, the way they stay in the game, the belief they have in one another. That's probably, Mike, the thing that is most similar. Is there's a genuine belief and there's a genuine effort to try to do their very best.
Kellen, you struggled the other night against Richmond, but tonight you knocked in big shots. Did you feel a little pressure replacing Rodney the other night, that maybe the second game you're like a little bit more calm about that?
A little bit, like Coach said. You can't really replace Rodney, but we just tried to take on our role and play as well as we could in that role, and I just tried to contribute as much as I could.
What do you think of the students ran out there like that, storming forward? And were you in the middle of that at all?
Yeah, I tackled him. Yeah, it was incredible. There's nothing like that. So.
Roosevelt, you about 4 minutes left, 4 or 5 minutes left. You were holding your back at the free throw line, went out for a few minutes. Can you tell us what was going on? If there's any thought that you wouldn't come back in?
When I went up for a rebound over Atlantic, I came down wrong, and I kind of pulled a muscle in my back. But there was no doubt in my mind I was coming back. It's still hurting a little bit, but I just played through the pain.
You a little afraid under the pile there of students and players?
Actually, when we started the pile, I thought of that NC State incident. But I wasn't afraid that I was going to get hurt. I was just making sure nobody else got hurt.
How's the tackle?
It was pretty good tackle, putting it right on my butt.
It's a good thing it wasn't reversed.
Kellen, how important were the three-pointers given their size on the inside, especially in the first half?
I thought that I just tried to contribute as much as I could, but they were big shots, kind of pulling the guys out and making it easier on my teammates, and they did a great job giving me the ball when I needed it. So.
Brad, what did you say to the team at halftime? It appeared that they were much more precise in the second half, less hesitant. It just seemed like there must have been something that was delivered there.
To be candid, I felt really good about where we were at the end of the first half. I mean, they had, again, had their way a little bit inside, but part of that was, we weren't going to double. We were going to try to stay. We were going to try to sink as much as we could off certain guys, but and Dower had really gone off on us a lot from the perimeter. So I didn't mind where we were, down one with the ball, and he's got 16 of their 33, and I felt like we could shore some of that stuff up. Pangos and Bell were two guys that we wanted to do as good as we could on, and you see, Kellen guarded Bell the whole night, and he took one shot, and Pangos took 5 shots. So our guys, 2 guards, did an excellent job guarding those guys.
Brad, did you feel good because the tempo is like 32-30 at halftime? You wanted to keep the game in the 50s or 60s?
I don't ever think about tempo, Bob. I really don't. It's never been something I've mentioned to our guys, never been something we've talked about as a staff. What we've always said is people will assume that it's a tempo game if you're a hard team to score on because it takes longer to get shots. And so we want to get up and get down the floor and get the best shot we can. Now, that being said, Bob, we're much more likely to score off the pass with this group than maybe when Rodney's got the ball at the top and he might pull up and shoot it. Obviously, Roosevelt can take it the length of the floor. We're much more likely to score off the pass with this group.
Brad, about 14 hours ago, you were out on the court with Digger and the guys for game day. It's been a long day. Can you just kind of take us through, this isn't just another game, kind of the experience of today and what it means for Butler and what it means for the program to get that kind of exposure?
Yeah, it was great. It was great. The guys that were here with ESPN, all 120 people that were working here with ESPN, what a fabulous job they do, how hard they all work, how they do so and still are very respectful of the teams and their practices and everything else. They've just been absolutely wonderful to have here. We hope that we might earn our way back sometime on game day. Hinkle's a fun place to be on a Saturday afternoon and then Saturday evening.
This is probably a Barry Collier question, but would you like to see these games continued?
With Gonzaga?
With Gonzaga?
Yeah, absolutely. If Mark wants to do that, then it's something we'd like to do. Obviously, it's hard to say what's going to happen in the very near future because of how squeezed our schedules are. But I would love to, but it's going to be, we'll talk about that and see if we can't find a date or if it's something he wants to do.
For the 2 players, I know Coach said Alex travels, there's still plenty of time to make plays and all that. What did you guys think when Alex traveled? Are you still confident?
Oh yeah, our team. I think we can win any game, no matter how much time on the court. As you can see when we play Marquette, when the Rodney hit the buzzer beater. So I know no matter how much time on the clock, we win every game.
Yeah, this is by far of the one of the toughest teams I've ever played for, and we're never going to quit until the buzzer sounds. So I was really proud of my team.
Coach, you
a
talk
lot
about-
of
go ahead.
a lot of big wins in your time as head coach. How does this one compare to some of those other games against big teams, being that it came at home in front of all your own fans where the others really haven't?
I mean, it's a great win. I was talking today about how hard it is to win a game. It doesn't matter what game. It's just hard to win a game. And so all of them, kind of add up at the end. But certainly this one will be a special moment in January, but we've been lucky to live some, I'd say, not better, but certainly just as special moments in March and even early April.
Brad, people might see that game-winning shot tonight and think it wasn't a prayer, certainly, but it wasn't a pull-up jumper. But that's pretty much Rosie's shot, isn't it? I mean, it's that 10 times.
He's got an amazing floater. He has an amazing floater. I mean, he has a wonderful touch on it. He always has. It's been something that, ever since we've watched him in high school, he's got different ways of scoring. He can elevate and finish high. He can float it off his shoulder. He can kind of pull it back and finish. It's hard to guard a guy that can finish from different angles, and he has it. He has that ability, and everybody talks about he doesn't shoot many jump shots. Doesn't shoot a jump shot, but he's got an unbelievable floater game.
How many times will you watch this on ESPN tonight before you get to sleep, Roosevelt?
I don't know. I might go in my room and go right to bed, get some light and go to sleep.
Better watch LaSalle personnel and then go to bed.